Hey, and welcome to episode 1 of Animation Study Group, a series where I, a complete beginner in animation, encourage you, probably also an enthusiastic beginner, to follow along as I work my way through this, the Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. I will probably say this often, but I recommend that you also pick up a copy. It's full of expert knowledge, and I'm not an expert. A quick note that the book's intro covers some animation history, as well as Richard Williams's personal experience in animation. It's worth reading, and if you want to see some of the references in that intro, I made a public playlist here. I'll try to keep that up to date as I encounter references in the text. Just keep in mind, not everything is available on YouTube, and not everything can be added to a playlist, actually. With that, let's get into it. The first exercise in the book is all about spacing and timing. So what I've prepared are two timelines. One has even spacing. It's 25 frames long. That looks like a 6, but it is a 5. And one has a pile up of frames at the beginning and a pile up at the end. It eases into the center. So you've got an ease in and an ease out. The idea here is we're looking at the same amount of time passing, the same beginning, middle, and end, but because of the spacing of your frames, we're going to have different looking motion. That's sort of the whole reason to do this. That's what we're looking to get out of it. One thing that's a little funky is the book has this timeline that has a midpoint of 13, but it is a 25 frame timeline. I'm not entirely sure why yet. There is a hold on 1 and a hold on 25. I imagine you're adding a frame to each. That still doesn't add up in my head, but I'm sure we'll figure that out as we get into what these timelines mean, how to use them. But for now, we're just going to do a straight 1 to 25. We're going to follow the spacing along the timeline and see how the motion is different. The other interesting thing about the text is Richard Williams is recommending that we use a coin and take pictures of the coin traveling from point A to point B across a surface. We're just going to draw it. It's actually more difficult for me to take a bunch of stills of a coin, upload that, link them together. So we're going to take the idea, apply it here, and just draw a circle across the timeline. So now's probably a good moment for you to draw out your timeline. If you're following along, maybe pause the video. I will get into drawing my coin or my circle traveling across this evenly spaced timeline. And I'm going to speed up the video, maybe put some music to it, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, we've drawn our circle traveling across our evenly spaced timeline. That took me a little while. Here we are, and you can kind of just see it traveling in an even way across the timeline. This is OpenTunes saving automatically. I'm going to loop the animation so you can see how my example travels across the screen. So that's that. Nothing fancy, nothing too crazy. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the timeline with ease in, ease out spacing. We're going to extend that out to the 25th frame. And I'm going to draw my second circle here. Let's turn off the layer with the other circle. And again, we're just going to speed through this, and then I'll show you what we ended up with. Okay, we have our ease in, ease out version of the circle traveling for the same number of frames. Let's see how that looks. I guess I'll keep the timeline on and let's just loop that motion and turn off our onion skin here. Back to the beginning. Here we go. So you can see it takes a second to get started and it takes a little while to slow down as well. For me, I don't know about you, but it was actually really challenging to draw a consistent circle. That's something that I'll probably need to work on. This is really neat to see the difference between how spacing can affect motion. The timing is exactly the same, only the spacing has changed. Side by side with the even spacing, and even turn them on at the same time so we can see what the difference is. I changed the colors on the two so that you can see what the travel across the page looks like. There's some inconsistencies in me doing this, but they start at roughly the same place and at roughly the same place at the same time. The only difference is their travel, their spacing across that timeline. That pretty much is it for this exercise. Pretty simple. One thing I'm going to do here is actually show you how you might do this with a vector image and some of the tools that are built in to OpenToonz. I'm going to grab this vector image. Let's go to animate. Let's set our center on the coin. Let's set our position right on the 1 there. Great. I think we want to create blank drawings. So let's highlight this whole area, create blank drawings. So now we have 25 blank drawings on this vector layer. We are going to take the coin, copy it, Control C, paste it in the 25th frame, grab it, shift click, and drag it over to our 25th position. And there are probably some easier and better ways to click through this stuff, but this is how I know how to do it. We're going to in between this. We moved over to the level. We grabbed all of the images, all those blank images on that layer, as well as the start, which has our coin in position 1, and the end, which has our coin in position 25. We're going to click in between. We're going to click linear and in between. Now we've got that coin traveling across the page with even spacing from 1 to 25. And if we want, let's insert above. Let's grab that image of the coin, throw it in here. We've got a new layer now with the same coin image. Let's throw that here. Great. I will do the same thing with my center. Throw it there. We actually need to make sure that these are all linked on the same level. So I'm going to create blank drawings up to frame 25. Insert the coin, grab it, drag it over. Now this time we'll highlight all of the frames in this level. We're going to click in between, but we are going to choose ease in, ease out, and we're going to in between. Let's turn that off, and we now have a coin that travels from the start to the end, but it takes some time to get started and it takes some time to slow down. That truly does it now. Thank you for tuning in. This is fun for me, and I hope it's useful or fun for you too. If you are following along, feel free to let me know. If you're posting your version of this exercise on YouTube, I'd love to take a look. I have a feeling the comment section on these videos is going to be desolate for a little while, but once we start to get some things in, it might be cool to do a section where we take a look at other people's versions of these exercises. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of folks that are better at it, you know, some that are on par, but that's not the point. The point is just getting into this, improving, learning some fundamentals, and having fun. So thanks again so much, and tune in next time for the next exercise in the book. All right, take care.